Dumelang, ka lebitso ke nna Kamogelo wa ga Kwapa, and welcome to yet another episode of Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists. My topic for today is spirituality versus psychology. So, one of the questions that I've always asked my lecturers during my university days was, where do you draw the line between a person being schizophrenic and a person having a spiritual calling? Now, if you know, a person who's schizophrenic tends to hallucinate. They tend to hear voices. They see things that we don't see. They act in a way that we might not even understand. And that is the same as a person that is actually spiritually inclined or that has a spiritual calling. They see visions. We don't see them. They hear voices. They hear God, the Holy Spirit, or amadlozi talking to them. They hallucinate as well, and we don't see it. So what really is the difference between the two? And I've asked so many lecturers this question and never really got an answer. And it had me puzzled because I want to understand as a mental health professional and someone that's going to be dealing with this in the future. How do I diagnose my clients? It wasn't until one of our in-house psychologists actually tried to explain to me or give me a sense of direction as to what could be the difference between the two. She says that it depends on the severity of the situation. If a person becomes harmful to themselves and to other people, then we can say schizophrenia. But at the same time, upon thinking about it deeply, I realized that, wait, you can actually have a spiritual calling and still be harmful to people because of the extent of whatever it is that you have in you. You get violent amadlozi who can actually cause chaos in between because you're not actually accepting or acknowledging them in your life. So what really is the difference? Well, according to my own opinion, I believe that we need to try and understand in depth what mental health issues are and what it means to be spiritually inclined. I might not have all the answers, but I do believe that we cannot spiritualize everything. I do believe that we cannot put ourselves in a situation where we blame everything on spirituality, neglecting the fact that there are mental health illnesses out there, neglecting the fact that there are reasons why people behave in the way that they do, which has nothing to do with spirituality at all. So, one of the things that I've picked up on as well, this is me just having a conversation with you guys about spirituality versus psychology. Like I said, I don't have the answers, but I'd like us to actually be open-minded and be willing to learn. Be willing to actually put ourselves in a position where we understand what the differences are. One of the examples that I'm going to mention is that I know someone who is very spiritual and they tend to spiritualize every single thing. Whatever negative thing that happens in their lives is a result of a spiritual attack or someone is trying to bewitch them, or it always has to do with spirituality. And it gets me frustrated because I believe that as an individual, you are a spiritual being, yes, and I can never take that away from you. But you have to find yourself in a space where you become logical about the things that happen around you. You need to be aware of what's happening around you. You cannot always say it's a spiritual thing. What role are you playing in that? What are you doing yourself that is actually contributing to things turning out that way? For example, you can pray for a job and say, okay, no, I'm looking for a job and I want a job, but you don't actually do your part. You don't do your CV, or you might actually do your CV, but you don't put in as much effort and you pray about it and you don't get the job and you're going to say, no, it's a spiritual attack, someone is bewitching me. But in all honesty, did you do your part? Did you do your research? Did you prepare yourself to actually get that job? I believe so much in manifestation. And I believe that the universe or God gives you that which you actually also give out. So if I'm not preparing myself, how do I expect to receive? I believe that God cannot give you something that you're not prepared for. So preparation is key. It's imperative for one to understand that in as much as you can be spiritual, you're also a physical being. And you have to do your part as a physical person. So what really is the difference? I don't know. But I believe that yes, we are spiritual beings, but we need to be aware of the role that we are playing as well in our lives. I will say another example that I've actually, something that I've actually observed as well is, cultural norms that actually play a huge role in our lives. We are Black people, whether white, whether Asian, whatever, we do have cultural norms that we actually oblige to. One of them that disturbs me a lot is one that says "Munna ki nkulela teni" or "Indoda ayikhali" in Zulu, which means that as a man you can't cry. Whenever you have an emotional breakdown or whatever, you have to hold it in like a robot. And that in turn creates a monster that we don't like. That same man that you are taking away from being human, you are creating a monster in him that we don't like. He ends up committing suicide, or worse, killing one of our girls. Because we are saying to him, you cannot be vulnerable. If you're vulnerable, you are weak. What does that do? Because we are saying a man cannot seek counseling. A man cannot go and talk to someone because he's a man. He's supposed to be a man and be strong, but we are killing him internally. It is such things that I believe we need to have psychoeducation It is such things that we need to psychoeducate on. It is such things that we need to be aware of when it comes to psychology. We cannot always look at things from one dimension. We have to allow ourselves to look at things holistically and understand that we are not only spiritual beings, not only cultural beings, but human beings that need to be aware of what's happening around them. So ask yourself, that situation that you're in, is it really spiritual, or could it be a result of your own actions? This is what I have for today. I hope it's enough. Do have a blessed day, and thank you.